This is New Zealand, the island of peace, history, and geography. Why is this masterpiece using only 20% of its land? Why don't they use the whole land? What if they used the whole land? New Zealand was originally founded on December 13th, 1642. Abel Tasman, a fancy European explorer, stumbled upon the pristine shores of New Zealand. The land is untouched, but noticeably lacking in bustling human activity. It's as if the islands were patiently waiting for their time to shine. Imagine a country as big as New Zealand being discovered in 1642. Isn't that weird? It had zero population, no life, no nothing, while other smaller countries were already throwing parties and having a blast, and you're just chilling in the Pacific, waiting for someone to discover your serene beauty. That's why size doesn't matter. As December 13th, 1642 unfolds, New Zealand is still waiting. While other places had bustling cities and civilizations, these islands remained mostly empty. The Maori, skilled navigators, eventually arrive, but their numbers are relatively low, taking a long time to increase their population. Fast forward to a time when the world was having a population explosion. While some places were super crowded with millions of people, New Zealand kept its cool. The Maori, who were good at sailing, created a cool cultural space. But the island stayed mostly peaceful. It's like they preferred a calm vibe over a super crowded one. They liked living with nature more than having too many people around. For me, that's a win for nature. As the 20th century started, New Zealand started being itself unique and cool. From fantasy lands like Middle-earth to saying a big no to nuclear stuff, the Kiwi spirit is rocking. But guess what? The number of people here is still not crazy high like in some other places. The islands like having their own space and enjoying their culture and vibe without being too crowded. It's all about quality, not quantity, and finding richness in the Kiwi way of life, which is pretty awesome. What do you think? Live in a populated future city or a small natural habitat? In 2023, New Zealand still hadn't grown as much as the others like Israel. So let's quickly play a game. What do you think has a higher population? If you thought it's New Zealand, bless your geographical heart. But sorry, you're absolutely, positively, fantastically wrong. In terms of size, of course, New Zealand beats Israel by 12 times. But in Israel, the Jews alone are greater than the whole of New Zealand. In this video, we will understand why, explore what if they used this land, and delve into more fun facts about New Zealand. Let's dive into the unique world of New Zealand, a country tucked away in the far eastern part of the globe. It's like that quiet kid in the class who sits at the back, enjoying the peace. New Zealand is situated in the southwestern Pacific Ocean, southeast of Australia, and what makes New Zealand very weird is the fact that even though it's one island holding the same name, each part has its climate. In the North Island, it's like the weather found the just right setting. Thanks to those westerly winds, places like Auckland and Wellington enjoy temperatures that are, well, just right, not too hot, not too cold. It's the ideal climate, similar to other spots around the world like Spain, Portugal, and Greece, offering that perfect balance for a comfortable living experience. The best thing is, it won't go all extremely hot and crispy to turn you into a walking barbecue or start raining cats and dogs. To give your old boring clothes a surprise makeover, it's just the perfect balance. Alright, let's talk about the South Island. Picture this. The west side, facing the Tasman Sea, gets a bit more action from the rain. It's like the party zone for water droplets. Thanks to the Southern Alps playing weather bouncer, the east side, places like Canterbury and Otago, get a bit of a rain shadow effect. Translation for your tiny brain. The west coast is all lush and green, while the east side might occasionally give you the drier than my sense of humor vibe. It's like having two weather moods on one island. Now that we've had our fun with the weather, let's jump into the past and explore the language of this awesome island. Let's find out how New Zealand becomes the depressed quiet kid like your lovely narrator. Chapter 3. Why English? Many centuries ago, the people of this land spoke a different language. It was a language that was unique to them, and it had been passed down from generation to generation. However, as time went by, the people began to interact with other cultures and civilizations. One of the cultures they interacted with was the British Empire. The British had a strong presence in this land, and they established trading posts and settlements. The people of this land began to learn the language of the British, and it eventually became the dominant language. As the British continued to colonize and expand their empire, the English language spread even further. It was taught in schools and used in government and commerce. Today, English is the most widely spoken language in this land, and it has become a symbol of unity and diversity. Eventually, it became theirs. Let's jump right into the mystery of why New Zealand is keeping 80% of its land on vacation. It's a bit like having a massive house, but only using one room. Imagine living, sleeping, and eating in the bathroom. Very intriguing, right? Alright, let's break it down. New Zealand isn't crowded with people because of its wild, natural beauty. Picture it like a huge, amazing painting made by Earth. The country is in a place where the ground shakes a lot, and there are active volcanoes. These make stunning views, but can be tricky for building things. So, some places are left alone to avoid possible problems. Think of the Southern Alps as massive mountains, like nature's skyscrapers. They control the weather, making it not so comfy to live way up there in the clouds. So, where do people prefer? Valleys and coasts, the cool spots around the mountains. Mother Earth has been doing her thing, making earthquakes and creating these big mountains. But not everyone wants to live in the clouds. So people find cozy places that aren't too high up. In a nutshell, New Zealand's landscape is like a bossy artist, shaping itself with earthquakes and mountain-making shows. Trying to control Mother Nature? Good luck! Instead, we adapt to what she's up to, like not living where there might be molten lava falling from the sky. Safety first. Sadly, you guessed it right. New Zealand also has lots of forests spread around the whole country, making it not very inhabitable like cities. Who needs a house in a population that has more trees than humans? Pathetic. Chapter 4, Part 2, Why They Don't Use the Whole Island. Picture this, New Zealand, the supermodel of the Earth's landscapes, strutting its stuff with mountains, lakes, and forests as its runway. Now, imagine someone saying, "Hey, let's slap a bunch of buildings on this masterpiece." Ridiculous, right? It's very disrespectful. People in New Zealand choose not to build big cities all over the place because they want to keep the natural beauty. The mountains, lakes, and forests are like their special treasures, and they don't want to mess that up. Chapter 5. You are valuable to them. You probably want to live there, don't you? Well, you would technically help them by increasing their population. Back in the mid-1900s, New Zealand was like a nation with open arms, waving at potential new residents. After World War II, they had a bit of a population gap, and they thought, hey, let's invite some folks over. So, imagine this. New Zealand became a bit like a cool club, and they wanted new members. They were on the lookout for skilled workers and professionals to join the Kiwi crew. And get this, they weren't just saying, hey, come live here. They sweetened the deal with perks. Assisted passages, help finding a place to live, and promising job opportunities. It was like a migration party. The goal was simple: bring in talented people who could contribute to New Zealand's growth and make it an even more awesome place. It did succeed, but not long term, so going to live there is a very good choice. But you might think, if an island has all this land sitting around, it must be tight on cash. But hold your horses, because in the 19th century, New Zealand didn't throw in the towel and shout, "We're out of gold, folks!" Mid-1900s. Chapter 6. Economics of NZ. Instead, picture this. New Zealand realized they needed a financial makeover. They didn't break the piggy bank or decide to drown themselves in $32 trillion in debt. Unlike our friend the US, I can't even imagine that number. They just switched up their money game. It's like going from playing one instrument to forming a whole band. They decided that since they have a huge grassland that only animals can live on, they decide to flood it with everything, from sheep, cows, and horses to everything you can imagine. So yes, I lied to you. They don't just waste the 80%, they use it. I am more impressed than you. Also, they use all the milk to sell in all the countries. Drum roll, please. They produce over 21 billion liters of milk alone in 1 year. I am honestly too shocked to make a joke about it. If you head to New Zealand, you might find a bit of home there too. A significant chunk of New Zealand's population comes from immigrants, so meeting someone from your corner of the world is quite likely. Just a heads up, only about 1 in 4 people there can say they're true blue Kiwis. The rest are immigrants who decided to call New Zealand home. It's like a global family reunion. Chapter 7. Cost of living and why is it expensive? Now, here's the twist. If city living is your jam, Auckland is the go-to spot. But here's the catch. Everyone knows it, and it's kind of the hot spot. Living close to the action comes with a hefty price tag. We're talking houses that range from $800,000 to a cool million US. You might need a time machine to work for 30 years just to buy a house. Ouch. You also need a car and presents for your lady and kids. Sorry to tell you, but you will suffer, my guy. But wait, there's a silver lining. Your best bet? Channeling your inner farmer and embracing the life of your ancestors. And hey, it's not as dull as it sounds. With landscapes that could make a postcard jealous, you might just fall head over heels for the serene farm life. So, in New Zealand, you've got options, whether you're chasing city dreams or considering a more down-to-earth adventure. The real reason houses are overly expensive there is because it's in very high demand. But there is another sad truth since New Zealand is, as I said before, a depressed, quiet kid, located very far from major global markets, which can increase the cost of importing goods and services. Transporting products over long distances adds to the overall expenses. For example, selling a large number of dairy products to a big consumer like us would take 25 to 30 days. The Middle East could take 20 days. And their best choice is China, where it would only take 15 days. Of course, this increases the price of transportation, meaning that they will have to increase the tax and price of goods. Let us do a quick look at some places in New Zealand that you won't find anywhere else in the world. Get ready, because we are about to get a glimpse into the Earth's dynamic forces. Rotorua, situated in the central North Island, stands out as a hub of geothermal activity. The city boasts geothermal parks like Waiotapu and Te Puia, where visitors can witness nature's spectacular display. Boiling mud pools, shooting geysers, and bubbling hot springs create a surreal environment, leaving an indelible impression. The distinctive scent of sulfur permeates the air, providing a sensory experience like no other. Taupo, perched on the edge of Lake Taupo, offers another geothermal oasis. The lake itself is a testament to the region's volcanic history, formed by a colossal eruption thousands of years ago. Travelers can unwind in geothermal hot springs, including the renowned De Bret's Hot Springs, known for their therapeutic properties. Immersing oneself in the warm waters while surrounded by picturesque landscapes is a rejuvenating escape. Venturing towards the Waimangu Volcanic Valley near Rotorua unveils yet another chapter of New Zealand's geothermal wonders. This valley, shaped by the eruption of Mount Tarawera in 1886, houses hot pools and geysers. Guided tours provide insight into the historical eruption and its lasting impact on the terrain. Among the country's distinct geothermal features, the Champagne Pool in the Waiotapu Thermal Wonderland stands out. This pool, with its effervescent champagne-colored water, is encircled by vibrant orange and yellow rock formations. Exploring the boardwalk surrounding the pool allows visitors to marvel at the unique geological formations and understand the pool's formation. It's not only the North Island that boasts geothermal treasures. The South Island contributes its share with the Hanmer Springs hot pools. Nestled in an alpine setting, these hot pools offer a serene experience amidst stunning mountain vistas. The juxtaposition of warmth against the cool mountain air creates a harmonious and relaxing escape. In essence, New Zealand's geothermal wonders showcase the raw power and beauty of the earth. From the bubbling mud pools reminiscent of simmering cauldrons to the majestic geysers that shoot water toward the sky, these natural phenomena narrate a story of the planet's dynamic forces. Exploring these geothermal wonders is a journey into the heart of nature, where the Earth's vigor is on full display. Just don't jump in the pool before checking the specific rules and regulations of each geothermal area. You can jump in some, but others will give you a very hot bath that will lead to 3 RT-degree burns. I'm not joking, it is very dangerous. Before we move to the next part, we have to talk about the people there. Chapter 9. The Friendly People. Since New Zealand has a relatively low crime rate, it makes it a safe place, meaning people there are nice, generous, and charming. They tend to be harmless. They won't steal or do anything illegal mainly because they are great people and because the police there know very well what they are doing. Even though they do not have the strongest economy, you can live there safely. Based on tourists, the police there have a very strong relation with its citizens, making a strong trusted relation between both. Before you ask, I highly suggest you put this on your bucket list. I consider it the ideal destination for a family vacation or a solo adventure. Since our vacation is coming to an end, I wanted to say, before we move on to our top 10 facts about New Zealand, make sure you destroy the like button and subscribe for more funny and entertaining geography. New Zealand is home to the world's only flightless parrot, the kakapo. This rotund bird is also one of the heaviest parrots in the world and is known for its distinctive musty odor. New Zealanders have a unique way of speaking that can be hard for outsiders to understand. For instance, the word fish and chips is often pronounced fish and chops. The country's national symbol is the kiwi bird, a small flightless bird with a long beak. Interestingly, most New Zealanders have never seen a kiwi in the wild, as the bird is nocturnal and rare. New Zealand is home to some of the world's most stunning natural landscapes, but it's also home to some of the world's weirdest. For instance, the Waitemo glowworm caves are filled with thousands of bioluminescent glowworms that light up the cave walls like stars. New Zealand is one of the few countries in the world where you can legally marry a tree. Joke alert, why did the guy in the Netherlands bring a ring to the forest? He heard the trees were into serious relationships. Sorry, I know it wasn't good. This is due to a legal loophole that allows people to marry objects or natural features. The country's national rugby team, the All Blacks, has a tradition of performing a haka dance before games. The dance is meant to intimidate opponents and show off the team's strength and unity. New Zealand's flag features the Union Jack, a symbol of the country's ties to Great Britain. However, there has been a movement in recent years to change the flag to better reflect the country's unique identity. New Zealand is home to the world's steepest street, Baldwin Street in Dunedin. The street has a gradient of 35%, which means that for every 2.86 meters traveled horizontally, you climb 1 meter vertically. The country's currency features a variety of native animals, including the kiwi, the kaka bird, and the tuatara lizard. The notes are also made from a polymer material that is more durable and eco-friendly than traditional paper money. Finally, New Zealanders have a unique sense of humor that is often self-deprecating and irreverent. For instance, the country's national slogan is 100% pure New Zealand, which is often parodied with slogans like 100% pure Middle Earth, a reference to the Lord of the Rings films, or 100% pure Bull Dollar hit. Let's feel the true spirit of New Zealand, the land that bounces back, the people with big hearts. More than just facts, we've found stories woven into the land, the joy and the soul of those who live here. It's not just about maps. It's about the wind's whispers in the Southern Alps, the quiet talks in Rotorua's warm hug, and the steady pulse of a nation proud of where it comes from. 100% pure bullshit. Third-degree burns.